Hi, in this video I will mention uh, Livestock Surah 100, the verse 118. It says, You shall eat from that upon which God's name has been pronounced, if you truly believe in His revelations. And in the next verse it says, Why should you not eat from that upon which God's name has been mentioned? He has detailed for you what is prohibited unless you are forced. Indeed, many people mislead others with their personal opinions without knowledge. Your Lord is fully aware of the transgressors. And also it says, Do not eat from that upon which the name of God hasn't been mentioned, for it's an abomination. The devils inspire their lives to argue with you. If you obey them, you will be idol worshipper. So here, uh, there. So here we see that first we have to eat God's name, and people will. Uh, so if there are animals, they before sacrificing the animal, they should they should uh, mention God's and so here we will analyze why it is a necessary thing, because basically eating food is for some people it's a hedonist activity. I mean, so they become sad and they eat food. They become happy, they eat food. They become unhappy, they eat food. So they use food as an excuse to fill some gaps. So this is not good, because we should eat food for health. We shouldn't eat food for happiness or something else. We should be careful about what we eat. We should eat healthy foods. We should eat food that God has approved. Also, we shouldn't restrict the food rules to the Quran, because in Quran we see that healthy food is mentioned. We should eat the good food. And now we know, like, there are a lot of additives and a lot of things that will definitely make you unhealthy. So in this case, we should expand the definition of healthy food in a way that including those food. But I don't mean that we should just forbid, or some, like, we should strictly say do not eat at all, but we should be very careful. And food profit processing is also important, and food quality should be ensured according to Islam, according to religion, and it means it has to be clean, and it should follow the current standards, and it shouldn't damage their health, and scientific principles should be followed. And also, so that's why I think actually it is not only so this is not only about saying God's name. It's also about administering the rules about God's administering the God's rules when it comes to processed food. So that's why it is important, I guess. So we know that now the obesity is a common problem. So people are getting fat, and they're not they're not really very productive. They cannot help other people. Basically, if you are obese, if you have metabolic problems, you cannot help other people. So, and you cannot focus on believing in God, you cannot focus on philosophy, and it will not be uh, cheap for you too. So you have to order a lot of food, and this is not good, and this is like the food is controlling you, not you're not controlling your intake, the food intake. So if we say God's name, so we will know that we are eating not for we know the source of the food, and we know that the food cannot make us happy. It is not a tool to make us happy, and we should be aware of the consequences of eating unhealthy food. So that's why we mention God's name. We should pronounce God's name. So that's all I want to say in this video, and if you think that I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. and thanks for listening this presentation.